Let's start the story where it makes sense. A man finds out his older sister is actually his biological mom. How does that even happen? You just found out your sister, your mom. How do you do that?
Where do I even begin?
Where'd she come from?
All of you, everybody watch my last TikTok wants a story time. It's going to be long. It's going to be a few parts because it goes on.
Oh, wow. If it goes on, we got to buckle in. No, you don't want to see how this man's sister is his mom? Y'all don't want to hear how this man's sister is actually his mama? Come on, chat. Don't act like that. Let me show y'all his sister is his mom. I meant to hit Discord. That was inappropriate.
But let's take you to the very beginning. I'm currently living in the United States of America.
Me too.
I'm from Canada.
I'm from
and
America.
During that process to immigrate, I worked with a lawyer and had to gather a lot of documents to do this process. And during this process, I required something called a long-form birth certificate. And if you're like me from Canada, you might not know what that is because I've only ever known of a short-form birth certificate that had my own information. My birth date, my birth location, and my name. That was it. Apparently, the U.S. immigration system needs a long form. They need to know who your birth mother is and your birth father and all that jazz. So I inquired to Canada about that. Found some forms online. I filled out, put all the information inside of it, submitted it. 3 hours later, I get a phone call from Canada saying, hey, there are some inconsistencies on your request for a long-form birth certificate. They asked who my birth mother was. I said it again on the phone, told them the same information I put on the sheet.
Yeah.
And they met back with, did she have another name? Was there another name she went by?
No.
And that's when I realized I realized I'm an idiot at that little portion of that conversation because I put my mother's married name, not her maiden name. And I apologized and I gave them my mother's maiden name. He responded with, sir, that is still not correct. Asked them if they could tell me who was listed on my birth certificate. That's when my whole life, just everything sunk in the pit of my stomach. They said a name who I've known for 34 years of my life to be my older sister.
Oh
and
my
she's now my
God.
birth mother. Yeah, I've got a lot of questions.
Me too.
I've got answers. I've discovered everything.
Me three.
And I'll make more parts to go over that.
No, please do,
But to
buddy.
give you guys a little bit of a teaser, I have a younger brother and an older younger sister.
Huh?
All three of us are kids of who we thought was our oldest sister.
How you got an
My
older,
younger
younger
brother,
sister?
My older youngest sister. We
What?
are all kids of who we thought was our older sister. And to break down what that means to you guys real quick, because I had comments about it. I grew up thinking I had 4 older sisters, which obviously isn't the case. Now, I just found out the news from Canada, birth certificate people, that my birth mother is my sister. First person I called on the way home was my older youngest sister. I have tears running down my face. She answers the phone, and it was a look I've never seen before. She looked concerned, but it was a look like he knows. I look at her and I said, did you know? I said it again, did you know?
Did you know?
And she said, Aunt, I've known for a while. And she had tears running down her face. And I was like, why didn't you tell me? Like, you know how much I love the truth of everything. Like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
She starts crying and she tells me that that's her mom too. You guys
that's crazy. He likes the truth of everything. Chat, y'all like lies. Me and him are one of the same. We like the truth of everything.
probably don't know how hard it is to know that there's somebody who shares more than just, you know, being a sister.
Yes.
She went through the same thing that I'm going through
right now
and had no one to talk to. She never told us. She never told me. Does my brother know? And she said he doesn't. And I said, I have to tell him. She also found out that our brother is also the child of who we thought was our older sister.
I'ma be
Finding
sick.
out from Canada that my mom isn't my mom and it's my older sister was tough in itself. The way my sister found out that she was her daughter is in a malicious way.
Huh?
In an argument with our older biological mother, she said that I'm your mother. And consequently told her that I'm also her son and our brother's also her son.
That would,
in a malicious way.
That would,
and a lot of
eat
people in the
me
comments
up.
like, oh, you guys probably had a great relationship your whole life, like as sisters, you know? It was probably still happy. No. My relationship with my older sister, my biological mother, never existed. She was a terrible person to me. And I'm not going to get into the details because everybody's going through different things and I don't want to bring up anybody else's kind of problems and stuff they're dealing with, but she was not nice. Next part, I'll talk about how I confronted my mom.
Yeah, do that.
About it.
Do that,
my mom
please.
Who raised me.
Yeah. That one.
Our older sister. We are all kids of who we thought was our older sister. The comments here keep saying, how did you not know she was pregnant? Come on, this doesn't seem real. We are all 1 year apart. I'm 34. My younger brother is 33, and my older younger sister is 35. We are almost perfectly 1 year apart, minus a month or so.
Woo!
We wouldn't have known. I called my mom who raised me. I confronted her and asked her, I said, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? She didn't know what I was talking about. I had tears running down my face and I said, Mom, you are not my mom.
Then don't call her that name. Don't call her that name.
And that's when she started crying. She closed her door and she said, she's like, I never lied to you.
You lied the whole time.
Never lying and never telling the truth.
It's the same as a lie.
The same thing. They are the same thing.
Yeah.
You never told me.
Never.
Is it true that my older sister is my mother? She said yes. And I asked about my sister and my brother. She confirmed it. We are all kids of our older sister. That's when I started freaking out. I said, Mom, I need to know right now. When I called that birth certificate place and I put those information in, they never questioned my birth father. They never questioned it. And that's when she told me that they don't know my father. There's no birth father listed. And I asked about my brother. I'm like, do you know his dad? She said no. I asked about my sister. Do you know her dad? She said, I don't know.
Who been
So we are
sleeping
3 kids,
with these
1 year
people?
apart, with 3 different fathers potentially. They don't know who they are. I don't know how this could happen. All this did was open up more questions. I hate being lied to.
Man.
I hate secrets. It's like for me, I'm like a cat with a mouse. If there's a task in front of me or a goal or something I want, I will get it.
Yes,
and I will get the truth as to who my birth father is, what this story is, and why the lies are still happening. I kept this all to myself for a few days.
Yes.
My birth certificate arrived. My mother listed on there is my older sister. My birth father, not listed.
Not
there
at
is
all.
no name. I have more questions than answers. I'm still being lied to. I'm still being lied to. During this time, I've contacted my older sisters. I use older sisters for purpose of talking because it just is what is normal to me. They are my aunts.
Yeah.
Nobody could tell me a single thing about those 3 years that their sister, my biological mother, had 3 kids. No one can tell me how, why, when, what. Still lies. Far as I'm concerned, there's no way they didn't know. They know who my father is, but they won't tell me.
Why not?
My parents who raised me are my grandparents. They, even though they lied to me for many years, they took on 3 young kids, 1 year apart, when they didn't have to.
Yeah.
They gave us a life that we wouldn't have had. And when I tell you that we wouldn't have had, because growing up, my biological mother also had 2 other kids that I've known to be my niece and nephew. So it turns out I don't just have 1 half sister and 1 half brother. I have 2 half brothers and 2 half sisters. And I've seen how they were raised by the woman who would have been my biological mother and how bad, in retrospect, compared to my life, that my parents hurt me. And it hurts knowing
This is
that
insane.
my niece and nephew got the shit into the stick. Just awful.
Oh, bro.
And I don't even know if they know that I know. I want to find my birth father. I need to find all this information
Find
out.
everyone.
I take an ancestry DNA test.
Oh, man.
My sister, she takes an ancestry DNA test.
Yes.
First thing we do is we check. We confirmed it. We do not have the same father. We checked both of our DNAs to see if our parents are related in terms of our mother and father. They were both negative. There was nothing happening inside the family, which is a relief. It is a relief because a lot of people in the comments were
my goodness.
putting comments like that, and
They thought it
I
was
thought
in the
the same thing for a
family.
very long time.
Man.
But it's not.
Good.
We have separate fathers
Okay.
that aren't related
At
to
least
us
they
in terms
freaky
of
in the
family,
streets.
chromosome, DNA,
Yeah.
all that jazz. Now begins a very long and interesting turn of events. More family secrets uncovered,
Next time.
and the journey to find mother. All the comments telling me, go reach out to her. Ask who your biological father is. I haven't talked to my sister, my birth mother, in years. She's a pathological liar. She's been mean to me, mean to my parents, mean to everybody. She was in and out of the court system, had a lot of problems with legality and everything like that. So the fact that I would take her word is very slim. Maybe I will eventually reach out to her, but right now, I do not believe that she would give me the answer I want anyways. So I reach out to the people I believe would know. My mom, my dad, my older sisters, my aunts. And they all said the same thing. That was a really rough time period in their lives, and they don't want to talk about it, and they don't know. So then I asked my mom and dad, does my brother, does my sister and I, do we share the same father? She said no. My mom said we do not. How can one be true and the other be false? How can you say we don't share the same father but then not know who they are? I did take an ancestry DNA test. I tested on GED Match to confirm that my sister and I's parents are not related. We share different fathers. I know people were asking how I did that. And because my half-sister did an ancestry DNA test at the same time, we were able to rule out which side of the family was which. We shared the same matches on our mother's side, but we had different matches on our other side.
Yeah,
So that's when I made a thread on Reddit. I made a post. And just like you guys, I had an overwhelming amount of support from a company called DNA Angels, telling that I should reach out to them because they can find my birth father. They accepted my case. They start building out my father's family tree, and they tell me, please don't look into it while we're doing it and make any assumptions because things will change as they build the tree.
It will.
Me, I'm impatient. I want to know right away.
Oh,
So I
be
started
patient,
following
be patient.
meticulously
He got to be patient right now.
while they're doing the tree. Started saying some last names that had some relation to me, pretty close. And then I started looking up and Googling those names.
Yeah, Google him.
And I found one of them to be a very, very influential, powerful person in the Canadian justice system as a relation to me. And then I started thinking about the stories of my sister, going in and out of courts, legal issues, and all that stuff, that maybe there was some type of connection. So for days, I was looking through these results and looking into it. This man would have been much older than my mother would have been when I was born. And people are asking, my mom had my sister at 16. My mom had me at 17. My mom had my brother at 18. We are exactly 1 year apart. This individual that was close to my relation in terms of DNA, I had some thoughts. Somebody abused their power. Fortunately, I was wrong.
Oh.
It was wrong. They continue to build out that ancestry tree of my father's side. That person is not my father, but we are related. While they're building out my family tree, I come across a name who shares DNA, a very high percentage, on my mom's side. who would have to be DNA-wise my mom's half-sister. My mom never had a sister. This individual passed away a few years ago. I found the obituary page. I look at the obituary page talking about this woman's parents, and I noticed that that woman's father shares the same name as my grandmother's father, my mom who raised me's dad.
I'm confused now, so I gotta get out of here. Chad, this guy living a freaky ass life, bruh. His mother was all over the place, and I don't know what's going on in that house. Woo! That's crazy.